Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset put you across the immediate background to the humanitarian launch of the Humanitarian Military Trust and also familiarize with you with the battlefront. The so-called Tigers of Tamil Eelam to resume hostilities with the government of Sri Lanka by commencing military operations in East by no means surprising. Previous post-conflicts such as Eelam 2 and 3 too began in the eastern province. The volatile nature of the eastern province, stimulated by multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multilingual and multicultural disparity, lends itself in nature to conflict. The LTT exploiting the ceasefire period, developed itself into an insurgent army possessing field and medium artillery, an effective brown water navy, an air arm, and a land fighting force including deadly suicide cadres with subconventional military capabilities. Forces involved in the humanitarian mission is as shown on the slide. The eastern province of the island is made up of 9,965 square kilometers in extent and covers around 16% of the total land area of Sri Lanka. The maximum length is 286 kilometers from south to the northeast, and the width is 89 kilometers from west to the east. The province is enriched with 420-kilometer coast, and it is the only province with 3 airports at Trincomalee, Vaticlo, and Nampara, and a harbour of strategic value. Habarna Vaticlo, Habarna Trincomalee, Trincomalee Vaticlo, Chinkaladi Mahawaya, Mahawaya Ampara were the main roads which dominated the area of operation. Avenues were available for cross-country move, which created ideal conditions for small group operations. Large paddy fields, open grounds, and dominating isolated high grounds dictated the use of night maneuvers to deny the terrorist observation. Sri Lanka experiences 2 main seasons, namely monsoon with torrential rains and dry season. Intermonsoonal rains of a common occurrence in this season as well. The dry season favors conduct of military operations. Waterways and irrigation systems turns into key obstacles with vast areas being inundated during monsoons. The one who determinedly overcomes unfavorable weather conditions will gain the tactical edge, ensuring the best impact at the strategic level. The Eastern Theatre of Operation was considered peculiar in nature with regard to the LTT due to its modus operandi and disposition compared with the other theatres of operations. The LTT disposition in the eastern region was not isolated in terms of ground factor. The military and the LTT were positioned without demarcation of separate areas of control, but terrorists occupied large bases deep in the jungles, lagoon interiors, and caves as their sanctuaries. This dispersed disposition facilitated the LTT to enhance their logistics, recruitment, training, and other related functions. The LTT maintained approximately 3,000 cadres physically in the east in early 2006 and reinforced systematically with preemptive actions against the security forces. These cadres were widely referred to as Karuna cadres, even after its leader, Karuna Amman's breakaway from the organization. And it is believed that they were the best or rather finest jungle fighting outfit among the LTT. The LTT's modus operandi in the East at this point of time as enumerated on screen. Concept of operations, the intent. The intent of the operation was to inflict maximum attrition to the LTT in order to provide secure environment for the population. Scheme of maneuver. In the scheme of maneuver, security forces was to accomplish the objective shown on the slide. Main effort. The main effort of the security forces was to segregate the civilians from terrorists and inflict maximum attrition on the LTT. The battle for water. The strategic value of the Trincomalee Harbour, both nationally and internationally, and political and military leverage, the LTT could apply on the government through threat of terrorizing Sinhalese and Muslim villages were the key strategic imperatives governing the Eastern conflict. Moreover, the Trincomalee Harbour was of critical importance in sustaining the population in Jaffna Peninsula and the naval and land operations in north. However, the first shots in the Eastern conflict were fired not over expected strategical or political issues, but the most important resource essential to the survival of mankind, water. The water, the indispensable for existence, be it man or animal. Therefore, the Eastern campaign was forced upon the security forces in a complex civilian backdrop. Hurried but coherent military strategy blended with innovative concept developed from the beginning of the new millennium cemented the way to unfold the decisive battle. Mavilaru stream comprises of 5 sluice gates, the 3 important being head sluice, source sluice and radial gate. The source sluice and radial gate had been constructed across the 2 branches of Verugal River which flows towards east. The head sluice controls the water flow towards north, which provides the water for cultivation and miscellaneous livelihood of people of 20 different villages. The Mavilaru sluice and connecting earth bund was situated approximately 5 kilometers of the nearest security force detachment, Kallar, in the Army's 2-2 division area, tactical area of responsibility. In the month of July, 21st July 2006 to be precise, the LTT's self-declared commemorative month of Black July. Villagers from all corners affected reported to the irrigation engineer responsible of unusual reduction in water flow through distributing channels. Consequently, the engineer, having proceeded to inspect the gate to ascertain the matter of concern, had been stopped by LTT at gunpoint, approximately a kilometer before the sluice gate complex. Having exhausted all possible means of negotiation to resolve the dispute with the Jackals in Tigavere, a sustained operation was launched on 28 July 2006 under the operational command of East, with troops comprising of infantry and special operation forces supported by armor, artillery, and affiliated technical and combat support units. The special operation forces and infantry fought their way through jungles under heavy direct and indirect fires to restore the situation. Dense minefields, submerged with variety of booby traps and improvised explosive devices, delayed the security forces' advance until the precious water flow was restored on 8 August 2006. Troops suffered heavy casualties as they were exposed to high-intensity combat after a 4 year of fragile peace. The success of the operation generated morale and winning spirit among the ranks and files of the security forces, to include closely supported air units. As the operation to reopen the gates was in progress, the radicals, identifying the appropriate moment, launched a series of attacks on army detachments securing general area Muttur. Desperate defensive action by the troops repulsed many of the attacks. However, the LTT continued direct and indirect fire assaults on Muttur and Kaddaparichan army detachments to deny the mutual support between these two detachments.